We've been taught that our thoughts are fleeting visitors in our mind, temporary passengers that come and go without consequence. But what if I told you that your thoughts aren't just passing through? They're creating loops, patterns that repeat endlessly until you discover the quantum mechanism to break them. In a world where we're constantly seeking solutions outside ourselves, chasing the next breakthrough, the next technique, the next guru who promises freedom, we've completely missed the fundamental truth about consciousness itself. The very act of pursuing a solution reinforces the loop that created the problem. Think about it. When you chase happiness, aren't you simultaneously affirming its absence? When you strive for abundance, aren't you energetically broadcasting that you don't have enough? When you search for love, aren't you vibrating with the frequency of loneliness? This contradiction isn't just philosophical, it's quantum. And it explains why so many people feel stuck in cycles they can't seem to break no matter how hard they try, no matter how many techniques they master, no matter how many transformational seminars they attend. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you want or what you pursue. It responds to what you are. It mirrors the vibrational signature you emanate, not the one you wish you could. And here's where everything you've been taught about transformation gets turned inside out. The field doesn't bring you what you chase. It reveals what you already embody. The quantum truth that few discuss is that transformation isn't progressive. It's instantaneous. It doesn't happen gradually over time as you work toward it. It happens in the moment you step into a new state of being. The future version of yourself that you're trying to become already exists in the infinite field of possibility. You're not creating that self. You're selecting it through resonance. And resonance doesn't happen because you've worked hard enough or suffered enough or even because you've visualized intensely enough. It happens when your internal state matches the reality you wish to experience. The observer effect in quantum physics shows us something profound about reality. The act of observation affects the behavior of subatomic particles. But there's a crucial element that's often overlooked. Not all observation is equal. Observation infused with expectation, with knowingness, with coherence collapses the wave function differently than observation clouded by doubt, fear, or desperation. When you observe your desired reality through the lens of lack, you're actually reinforcing its absence in your experience. It's as if you're trying to tune into a radio station while simultaneously jamming its signal. Imagine for a moment that you're sitting at a vast cosmic control panel with infinite dials, each representing a different possible reality. The reality you experience isn't determined by which dial you wish you could tune into. It's determined by which dial you're already tuned to. And that tuning isn't set by your conscious desires. It's set by your subconscious beliefs, your emotional baseline, and the vibrational signature you carry in your cells. This isn't spiritual bypassing or magical thinking. It's the convergence of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge quantum understanding. The field, that infinite matrix of potential, doesn't judge your desires as worthy or unworthy, possible or impossible. It simply responds to coherence, to alignment, to resonance. When the signal you broadcast matches the reality you wish to experience, the gap between them collapses. Not because you made it happen, but because you removed the resistance that kept them separate. This is where most people misunderstand manifestation entirely. They believe it's about pulling something toward them through force of will, through visualization, through affirmations. But quantum manifestation isn't about attraction at all. It's about selection. It's about tuning yourself to the frequency where that version of reality already exists. The greatest irony in human experience is that we've been conditioned to believe that value comes through struggle, that transformation requires pain, that growth demands sacrifice. We chase and chase and chase, convinced that if we just run fast enough, want badly enough, work hard enough, eventually we'll catch what we're after. But in the quantum realm, it's precisely this chasing that keeps us locked in the loop. The more intensely you pursue something, the more you affirm its absence. The harder you try to force a manifestation, the more you amplify the resistance that blocks it. This isn't because the universe is cruel or because you're doing something wrong. It's because the fundamental laws of resonance and coherence can't operate any other way. A frequency can only attract its match. Water can only flow downhill. And consciousness can only experience what it's aligned with. Think of it like this. Have you ever noticed that when you desperately need something to happen by a certain deadline, everything seems to go wrong? But when you're in a state of calm assurance, things often fall into place effortlessly? That's not coincidence, it's coherence. When you're in a state of desperation, You're broadcasting a frequency of lack, and the field can only reflect that back to you. But when you're in a state of calm certainty, you're broadcasting a frequency of coherence, and the field reflects that instead. This is why the simplest path is often the most powerful, and also why it's the most overlooked. Simplicity doesn't sell courses. Simplicity doesn't feed the ego's need for complexity. Simplicity doesn't justify the years we've spent struggling. But simplicity is where the quantum shift begins. So what does this mean for you, right now, as you listen to these words? It means that the version of reality you're trying to manifest isn't waiting for you to work harder or want it more intensely. It's waiting for you to align with it, to match its frequency, to become coherent with its vibration. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel ready, but now, in this moment. This is the quantum leap that transcends time and space. It doesn't happen gradually. It happens instantaneously when you shift from seeking to being. And this is where we need to pause and acknowledge something important. This isn't about blame. If you've been stuck in loops of frustration, if manifestation has seemed elusive, it's not because you're broken or because you're doing something wrong. It's because no one taught us how reality actually works at the quantum level. We've been playing the game with an outdated rulebook, trying to manifest from the outside in when it only works from the inside out. If you've ever felt the strange disconnect between what you consciously want and what keeps showing up in your life, now you know why. Your conscious mind has been broadcasting one frequency, while your subconscious mind, your cellular memory, your energetic signature, has been broadcasting another. And it's always the deeper broadcast that the field responds to. Now, if this resonates with you, if you feel a recognition stirring within, I invite you to join our community of conscious observers. This channel exists to bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and modern science, between intuitive knowing and empirical understanding. Subscribe and become part of a collective field of awakening consciousness. Share in the comments one loop you're ready to break, one pattern you're prepared to transcend through coherence rather than effort. Let this space become more than just a video. Let it become a quantum field of shared intention where we amplify each other's alignment. The very act of sharing your intention here creates a ripple in the field, a declaration to yourself and to the universe that you're ready to step into coherence. In the scientific understanding of brainwaves, we know that when someone enters a state of deep meditation or coherent consciousness, their brainwaves shift from beta to alpha, theta, and sometimes even gamma states. These aren't just different speeds of neural firing. They're fundamentally different states of consciousness, different ways of perceiving and interacting with reality. Similarly, in quantum terms, your state of being operates at different frequencies, different vibrational signatures that determine which potential realities collapse into your experience. When you're caught in a thought loop of worry, lack, or fear, you're literally vibrating at a frequency that can only attract more of the same. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because can only resonate with your electromagnetic signature, the combination of your thoughts, electric, and your emotions, magnetic, creates a broadcast that the field cannot help but mirror back to you. So how do you break these loops? Not by fighting them. Resistance only amplifies what you resist. Not by ignoring them. Denial doesn't change your vibrational signature. You break them by stepping into a new state of being, by embodying the frequency of what you desire, rather than the frequency of its absence. And this isn't pretending or fake it till you make it. It's a fundamental shift in your relationship with consciousness itself. It's recognizing that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. You are not your emotions. You are the space in which they arise. And from that space of pure awareness, you can choose which frequencies to embody, which states to inhabit, which version of reality to align with. Consider for a moment the concept of parallel realities. Infinite timelines all existing simultaneously. In this model, you're not creating your desired reality from scratch. You're tuning into a version that already exists, the version of you who already has the abundance, the health, the relationship, the peace you seek, is already complete, already whole, already experiencing that reality. Your job isn't to build that version of yourself through effort and time. Your job is to tune into that frequency, to align with that timeline, to collapse the wave function in a way that brings that reality into your experience. This isn't a metaphor. It's a description of how quantum reality actually functions. The observer effect isn't just about particles behaving differently when watched. It's about consciousness selecting which potential becomes manifest through the act of coherent observation. And you are always observing, always selecting, always collapsing waves of possibility into particles of experience. The question isn't whether you're manifesting. You're doing that with every breath, every thought, every feeling. The question is whether you're doing it consciously, coherently, intentionally. Most people manifest by default, broadcasting mixed signals, contradictory frequencies, incoherent patterns. They want abundance, but feel lack. They desire health, but focus on symptoms. They seek connection, but vibrate with isolation. And then they wonder why the universe seems confused about what to deliver. What if you could become so coherent, so aligned, so congruent in your broadcast, that the field has no choice but to mirror that coherence back to you? What if manifestation isn't about getting what you want, but about becoming who you already are at the highest level? What if the struggle you've been experiencing isn't a sign that you're doing it wrong, but an invitation to a completely different approach? The quantum field doesn't respond to wishful thinking or to desperation. It doesn't respond to affirmations repeated without feeling, or to visualizations divorced from embodiment. It responds only to coherence, to the synchronization of your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, expectations, and actions. When all of these elements are broadcasting the same signal, the field cannot help but reflect that signal back to you as experience. And here's where it gets really interesting. Time isn't what we think it is. In the quantum realm, past, present, and future exist simultaneously. The version of you who has already transcended the loop you're currently experiencing isn't some distant possibility. It's a present reality in another timeline. And you can collapse the distance between those timelines not through time, but through coherence. This is why some manifestations seem to happen instantly, while others feel like they take forever. The difference isn't in how hard you're trying or how worthy the desire is. The difference is in how coherent your broadcast is with the reality you're trying to select. So how do you become coherent? How do you align your entire being with the frequency of what you desire rather than the frequency of its absence? It begins with a recognition that may feel uncomfortable at first. Your current reality, with all its challenges and limitations, is a perfect reflection of your previous broadcast, not because you consciously chose it, but because consciousness itself can only experience what it's aligned with. This isn't about blame, it's about reclaiming your power. Because once you recognize that your reality is a reflection, you realize that changing the reflection doesn't happen by trying to manipulate the mirror. It happens by changing what the mirror is reflecting. And what the mirror is reflecting is your state of being, your vibrational signature, your coherence or lack thereof. Quantum coherence isn't something you achieve through force or through perfect execution of techniques. It's a state you allow by releasing resistance, by surrendering the need to control the how, by trusting the intelligence of the field itself. When you stop trying to make reality conform to your desires and instead allow yourself to align with the version of reality you prefer, the struggle dissolves, the chase ends, the loop breaks. And in that space of coherent alignment, manifestation becomes not something you do, but something you allow. If this message speaks to your heart, if you feel ready to break free from the loops that have held you captive, I invite you to become part of our observer community. Subscribe to this channel not just for content, but for connection. Connection to a field of shared intention, shared exploration, shared awakening. Share in the comments your own quantum revelation, the loop you're breaking, or the new reality you're aligning with. Your words here aren't just seen by others. They're declarations to the field itself, vibrations that ripple outward and help create coherence not just for you, but for all of us. Together, we're not just learning about quantum reality, we're embodying it, creating it, living it. The observer effect isn't just a scientific principle, it's who we are at the most fundamental level. And as conscious observers, we have the power to select which potentials become our experience, moment by moment, through the coherence of our being. Remember, you are not broken. You don't need fixing. You are consciousness having an experience, and you have the power to choose which experience you have next, not by chasing, striving, or forcing, but by aligning, allowing, and becoming. The version of you who has already transcended the very challenge you're facing now is not some distant future possibility. That version exists now, in this moment, as a potential waiting to be selected through your coherence. So I ask you, what would it feel like to live as if you were already that version of yourself? What would it feel like to embody that frequency not tomorrow, not when everything is perfect, but right now? And what if that feeling, that embodiment, that coherence is all that stands between you and the reality you desire? What if the quantum secret to breaking the loop instantly is simply to stop treating your desired reality as something to pursue and start experiencing it as something you already are? This isn't a technique, it's a recognition, it's a remembering. It's a return to the truth of who you've always been beneath the layers of conditioning, beneath the patterns of lack, beneath the loops of limitation. You are the observer, and in your coherent observation lies the power to select which potential becomes your reality. Not someday, not eventually, now.